Well, honestly, is there any more I need to say? Jensen Huang says Nvidia now has, quote, 0% market share in China, says US export policy, quote, has already largely backfired. Yes, yes. Yes, I think that would probably be true. I think that's kind of what I've been screaming about for like a year and a half now on these videos. But it's nice to see that Jensen Huang has finally gotten on board with a guy in his basement screaming into a webcam. So I think this is kind of an interesting story just to take a look at, just to see the absolute disaster of American AI policy vis-a-vis China, right? There's this idea that not only do we have the right, but we have the ability to essentially kneecap the progression of an entire civilization. And as I've argued before, one, we shouldn't feel like we have that right. And two, regardless, we do not actually have that ability. And basically, as I've said before, China is just going to keep progressing, and basically we are losing market share. Again, it's one of those funny things, like for the American politicians, there's been this argument for years, right, that for trade deficits or whatever, like we are going to buy the cheap, the inexpensive goods that China produces, and then China will purchase the high value products that we sell to them. Right? So we buy balloons from China and they buy GPUs from us. However well that actually makes sense is as it is. But I think the interesting thing now, again, especially when we look at trade deficit, it's not exactly China's fault when we refuse to sell them our high value goods. Can you believe this trade deficit? We refuse to sell them hundreds of billions of dollars of our goods. And they sell us more than they're buying from us. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, maybe if we sold them more GPUs, if we sold them more CPUs, if we sold them more operating systems, if we sold more of this high value stuff, I thought we were trying to be selling them, maybe the trade imbalance wouldn't be so bad. But anyways, that's not how they're looking at it. So I kind of think this is interesting here. Again, looking at like Jensen Huang and Nvidia, right? They had something like 80% market share in China 2 years ago. We're not talking about 20 years ago. We're not about 12 years ago. 2 years ago, they had like 80% market share in China. And it is just being caught down to absolute nothing. Mainly because of Americans' policy, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Take a look at this. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang said the company's market share of AI accelerators in China has now dropped to 0%. The drop is staggering, given that the company owned the lion's share of China's AI accelerator market just 2 years ago. And again, 2 years ago. Quote, in China, we have now dropped to zero, Huang said. Quote, conceding an entire market the size of China probably does not make a lot of strategic sense, so I think that has already largely backfired. Maybe it has made sense at times, but I think the policy really needs to be dynamic and needs to stay with the times. Quote, I think it would be fairly safe to say that having American chip companies and other companies in China makes a lot of sense. Yes, selling a crap ton of our high value products to another country makes a lot of sense. But I don't know. I am not a businessman of the caliber that Trump is. I have not bankrupted half as many corporations as Trump has bankrupted. So I just must not understand this 5D chess that he's playing. Because that's the thing. Xi is playing Go and Trump is playing 5D chess. The only problem with that argument? Go exists in the real world. 5D chess is a figment of people's imagination. So Xi is playing a real game and Trump is lost in his own headcanon. What could possibly go wrong? Let's see here. Earlier this year, tech research firm Bernstein estimated that Nvidia's share of China's AI GPU market could fall from 66% in 2024 to roughly 8% in the coming years, both due to restrictions imposed by the US government and because domestic vendors are moving to cover up to 80% of demand. And this is what I've talked about with Huawei and everybody else. You know, all the domestic hardware manufacturers and technology companies. I mean, they're trying to build their own AI equipment. According to Wang, this happened much later, though again, he talks only about Nvidia's direct sales to Chinese customers. Meanwhile, Wang warns that even without leading AI GPUs and software stacks developed in America, China remains a formidable competitor when it comes to frontier AI models. Quote, American companies win around the world, Wang said. Quote, the argument there is that across the 5-layer cake, there's one particular layer that is too important because in the others, China can get ahead. They have cheaper energy, they have incredible talent, so they have the number of science and math experts, and as a result of that, the number of AI researchers in China is quite extraordinary. It's one of their national treasures. Given the situation, Wang also contends that U.S. export controls may be strategically counterproductive. He argues that conceding a market of that scale accelerates China's push towards self-sufficiency, while continued participation of American companies in that market would help extend the global reach of the American AI stack globally. Yes, so basically we are pushing them to be self-sufficient. At the exact same time, basically, we are kind of kneecapping ourselves from participating in the entire global market. So it's interesting to see Jensen Huang come out and say this more. He's been talking about this kind of thing for a while now. And again, it's only going to get worse because, as said, right, the Chinese companies are moving ahead. And as I've talked about before, even if you take at face value that they're behind us, right? That's supposed to be the argument. Well, they're behind. They're not as good. But listen to all the experts. Are they not as good by 5 years? And what do we need to think about here, right? 5 years is the maximum. 5 years is the furthest behind that they are. But it's 2026 now. Like, you think 5 years, and it's really easy to think like 2001. Oh, they're back in 2001 era. They're back in Windows Millennium era, and we're in AI world. No, it's 5 years. They're in the 2021 world. So look at computers and look at equipment and look at all that stuff brand new in 2021 and ask yourself, functionally, is it actually less useful than the equipment that you're using now? And that's the worst case, right? Most people are saying maybe they're 3 years behind us. That puts them in the 2023 timeframe, right? That means with OpenAI had a 4.5 turbo out. Right? 4.5 turbo was pretty good, honestly. Right? So again, and then you might get to a year and a half, whatever. But again, even if you think that they're 5 years, theoretically that they're 5 years behind us, that means in 2031 they'll be where we are today. And as I've argued for many things, AI is good enough where it is today. Right? Most of the issues we have with artificial intelligence at this point, or these technologies, again, RAG and vector databases and LLMs, that kind of thing. Most of the issues I think we have today is implementation. We literally do not know how to properly implement the technologies and solutions that we already have. This is one of the things you always get in the technology world. There is a lag, a massive lag between when a technology becomes completely viable and completely stable and when it's actually deployed in the real world. Again, I talk about that with QR codes here in the United States. Right? QR codes have been around forever. Here in the United States, they didn't become popular until COVID, right? It's just one of those weird things, right? It just takes a certain tipping point before everybody starts to use it. With a lot of this AI stuff, the big issue now is that most companies really don't know how to implement it. Most employees don't really understand how to implement it. Again, workflows and all of that kind of stuff. And so that's what's really holding people back. So even if technologically, theoretically, China is behind us, from a practical standpoint, what does that really matter? And then on the world stage, when you look at our disastrous, export control policies on this, right, where we're not simply punishing China for purchasing our AI equipment, but we're also punishing other countries, right? Middle Eastern countries have to jump through hoops to get our equipment. European countries have to jump through hoops to get our equipment. South American companies have to jump through hoops to get our equipment. At the exact same time, the Trump administration is doing all kinds of, like, Any lever of power this monkey has is a lever of power this monkey is gonna pull, right? And so you think about, again, if you're a CTO in Argentina and you're looking at vendors and you're like, look, I can buy from Nvidia, or I can buy the American stack, or I can buy the Chinese stack. The American stack is technically better, but it's a hell of a lot more expensive. And at any time, a monkey might pull a lever, and I literally will not be able to get things like firmware updates. Again, we talk about things like export controls. You don't realize some of it. Like some of this stuff is literally updates to software. Again, with the controls we're trying to put on China right now. Equipment that China has already purchased. China has already purchased ASML equipment and equipment to that level. And literally our Congress, our government is trying to prevent them from getting service for that equipment. Think about this, a $300 million piece of equipment that Chinese companies have purchased, and our government is working to make it so that equipment can no longer be maintained. If you're in Argentina, you're not American, you're not Chinese, you're in Argentina, you see that horse crap going on. What is your risk tolerance? Do you have the risk tolerance to be able to accept that a senile monkey up in the White House from an entirely different country basically may be able to crash your entire infrastructure because they have a hissy fit? Whereas you look at China, again, even let's just say, even if it's worse than the US stack, it might be worse than the US stack, but it's gonna be cheaper than the US stack. You can buy as much of it as you want and it will be supported. So anyways, that's how I'm looking at it. Again, Jensen Huang is coming out there. I don't know. We're gonna, it used to be fun. It used to be fun to laugh at the Brits. I used to be like, ha ha ha. Remember when they said the sun never set on the British Empire? And you have Scotland, you have the Scotland that's trying to secede from the United Kingdom. And I'm like, haha, what's it like to know you might not even control an entire island by the end of this generation? It was really funny to laugh at the Brits, talking about the sun setting on the British Empire. Yeah, it's not it's not so funny. It's not so funny when your politicians are trying to do the same thing to your country. Oh, Lordy. Sun is setting on the American empire, that's for sure. Unless we do something, unless we pull the heads out of our butts. So what do you think about it? What do you think about Jensen Huang coming out and saying this? What do you think about Nvidia going from a majority of the AI market share in China to basically zero of the market share in China? What do you think this portends for the future? Put your thoughts down below. Do remember you can get these videos or whatever on Spotify now and on iTunes podcast. There is a link in the doobly-doo. And with that, see y'all later.